Hello, and welcome to the demonstration of CAD and ECN Manager. Today, we'll be looking at how you can automate the BOM data comparison and transfer into Epicor using CAD, as well as providing some engineering change control on top of that with ECN Manager. So first, let's say we're engineers and we've finished designing this model in our CAD system, and it's time to bring this information into Epicor. We can launch CAD directly from this interface. And it's first going to run a comparison of the bill of materials found in my CAD model against what's in Epicor. So it took fields like part number, description, revision, quantity, unit of measure, and compared it. And the results are displayed on the screen with the color coding to tell you what's different. White items were found in both my CAD model and in Epicor. Green items were items that are found in the CAD model but not in Epicor. So these are new items. CAD will create these items inside of Epicor with the part number, description, revision, unit of measure, and add that quantity to the bill of materials for you. Yellow fields represent field level discrepancies, meaning that when CAD ran the comparison of the bill of materials, it noticed that for these specific fields, there were differences in the data. I can right-click this field here, and you can see the description coming in from CAD and the description coming from Epicor. You can choose between these two descriptions for the one you'd like to keep, or you can type in your own description, and this will bidirectionally update both my CAD model and Epicor. Gray items represents items to be removed from the bill of materials in Epicor. This is because these were no longer found in my CAD model, although they still exist in Epicor. CAD will remove them so that the two BOMs will be synchronized. However, there are times when this might not be desired. For example, if you have items such as nuts and bolts, grease, or paint, or packaging, items that are typically included in the Epicor bill of materials but not modeled, you would not want them to be excluded, but to be transferred to a manual part. You see that the color has changed to a blue item, and blue item means that although these items are not found in your CAD model, CAD has flagged them on the Epicor side to not be removed. Now that we see all the differences in the bill of materials, we can make decisions on which items we want to create, how we want to resolve discrepancies, and so on. And once we have done that, we can hit the Save button, and CAD will be able to push this information into Epicor. And just like that, these changes have been updated in both my CAD model and in Epicor. Now let's say this 4-digit print head. We were selling this 4-digit print head to a customer, and this customer comes back to us and say, hey, we need more cartridge heaters in this 4-digit print head. Right now, in the current revision, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 cartridge heaters. But now we need a revision B that has more cartridge heaters to suit this customer's requirements. Now, we got an engineer to do that already, so I'm just going to open up a revision 2, and you'll be able to see that it's been updated with this 5th cartridge heater. Now this triggers an engineering change, and we need to have a process to handle this. In order for us to initiate this process, what we're going to do is run CAD again, And CAD Link will tell us the differences in the data between what's currently in Epicor and what's in this new CAD model. So it looks like for this cartridge heater here, the value increased from 4 to 5, as well as this housing assembly has bumped up in revision to revision B, because we now need an extra hole to accommodate the cartridge heater. This revs up its parent, which in turn revs up the parent assembly. These changes need to be documented in an engineering change notification, and we can do that simply by clicking on this here, Start New ECN. I'm going to begin a new one, although I'm able to append to an existing ECN if there were any inside of my database. This will now launch my browser, in which I'm now able to access my Ecn Manager application. I have to provide my login credentials so that I'll be able to log into my Ecn Manager account. From here, I can click Create, and I can begin filling out my ECN. First, we have the header information here. The ECN number is just an ascending numbering system indicating the number of this ECN. The ECN status tells us at which stage this ECN currently is. Right now, I just created it, so it's in the started phase. Later on, it will be submitted to Doc Control for approval or entered into the workflow for approval, and so on. There's the created date and the created by. I'm logged in as a user named Frank Wright. And first, we'll get our first text field here where we can begin detailing information about this ECN. So the reason for change, perhaps not enough heat, add additional heat cartridges as a reason for change. Moving down here, we'd be able to have a larger text field to enter more information. And this is really up to you what you want to put in here and what kind of company standard that you want to develop around what you want to bring into this ECN notes field. I can simply just say, check ECN documents for test results. Maybe we tested this 5 cartridge 4-digit print head already. Ecn Affected Assemblies is the next tab. And here, you'll be able to see the tabulated affected assemblies that Ecn Manager brought in from CAD Link. So CAD Link told Ecn Manager what the differences are in the bill of materials, and Ecn Manager has brought it into this ECN for us to know what we will be dispositioning. Now, the strength of Ecn Manager is that its integration to Epicor allows it to look into the Epicor inventory, purchase orders, and job orders for all these affected assemblies so you can properly disposition them and have all your bases covered. Whereas traditionally, you would have to go into all these inventories, POs, and jobs separately, and then having to look for these items there. So let's first look at our inventory. This is the part number for our cartridge heater. Since we're only using more cartridge heaters, we can simply dispose this as use as is. Whereas this housing assembly, since we need to drill extra holes and perhaps manufacture in a different way, we might have to rework these items in my inventory, and so on. You can go ahead and disposition these as you like, and you can add additional dispositions in your own ECN Manager in the Administration tab, and you can control this there. As you disposition these items, these thumbs downs will become green thumbs up, meaning that these items are now fully dispositioned and that all your bases are covered across your inventory, your POs, and your jobs. So let's continue moving on. So the purchase orders, I can add in some more here. And in my jobs as well, I can cancel jobs. I can add a disposition that says jobs, and I could be able to say to cancel this. And all this is doing is that when this ECN is approved, these dispositions will appear as tasks and notices to be released inside of Epicor to predetermined workers so that they'll go and actually do the work that's described by this disposition. And now that I've dispositioned all these items, I have 3 green thumbs up, meaning that for my affected assemblies, that's all ready to go. These tabs here are just more information about the items that we are looking at. The Where Used tab just tells me if there's other assemblies where my affected parts and affected assemblies are under, so that I know how my dispositions might affect those. Cost Summary tab is costing information about my dispositions. And the CAD drawings are images being brought in from my CAD link that I'll be able to provide to all the people who look at my ECN, and they'll have this information here. The ECN workflow is where I'll be able to build the approval process that this ECN is going to flow through. I can sort by user and just drag them onto the interface and connect them one by one. So now what this means is that my ECN will first go to Frank and then go to Bruce after it's been approved. I can load user categories as well. And these are just groups of users that are defined in the administration panel, and anyone from within that group can approve this ECN. The ECN documents allows me to upload files that might help the users later on with having more information. So I can select virtually any file type and upload it to this ECN. And lastly, ECN email correspondence. We have an Outlook integration where we get to tie emails into the ECNs that we currently have open here. So let's say this email is important to the ECN and I need to include it there. I can just go right to our add-in and add the email to the ECN. And like so, the email appears here, and any attachments from that email are also included in that file. Now that my ECN is ready to go, I'm now able to send it out to dog control for approval, who gets to vet the information. Once that person knows that it's all good to go, then it'll be released to my workflow to be able to approve or reject my ECN. After that occurs, once everything has been approved, ECN Manager will then make the BOM changes inside of Epicor that the Ecn Affected Assemblies is describing, as well as release tasks and notices based on the dispositions that were assigned. This was a quick high-level overview of CADLink and Ecn Manager. If there are any other questions, or if you'd like to see a full demonstration, please feel free to contact your Epicor CAM or QBuild software. Thank you.